The Halloween franchise has terrified audiences for decades, but persistent urban legends suggest something far more sinister lurks beneath the surface. While these tales are compelling, it's important to examine them critically and understand the difference between creative mythology and documented reality. The story begins with an alleged incident in 1962 Russellville, Illinois, where a family was supposedly found murdered in their locked home. According to the legend, a 6-year-old boy named William Thorne was discovered holding a knife, claiming the man in the mirror instructed him. This chilling detail became the foundation for numerous conspiracy theories, linking the fictional Michael Myers to real events. However, no verified police records, newspaper archives, or historical documentation supports the existence of William Thorne or this specific incident. Russellville, Illinois exists, but searches through crime databases and historical records from that era reveal no such case. This suggests the story is likely an elaborate piece of horror folklore rather than suppressed truth. The legend continues with William's commitment to St. Marcus Psychiatric Clinic, where he allegedly drew blank faces with white masks for years. A psychiatrist named Leonard Mathis supposedly studied the boy until a mysterious fire killed the doctor in 1969. Again, number records exist for this psychiatric facility, this doctor, or these events in medical or historical archives. The tale claims filmmaker John Carpenter discovered Dr. Mathis's diary at a flea market in Haddonfield, inspiring Halloween's creation. While Carpenter did create the Halloween franchise, he's been transparent about his actual inspirations. The film was influenced by Psycho, Black Christmas, and Carpenter's desire to create an efficient, low-budget thriller. There's no evidence of any mysterious diary or occult research. The fictional town of Haddonfield itself was named after Deborah Hill's hometown in New Jersey, Carpenter's co-writer and producer. The creative process behind Halloween has been well documented through interviews, behind-the-scenes footage, and Carpenter's own accounts. The film's genesis was commercial and artistic, not supernatural. Urban legends surrounding the production describe equipment failures, mysterious figures on set, and the death of an electrician named Mark Daniels in Warehouse 3. These stories claim his body was found, mutilated with the word Samhain written in blood nearby. Production records, crew testimonials, and film history sources contain no mention of any on-set deaths or mysterious incidents during Halloween's filming. The 1978 production was notably smooth and completed on a modest budget of approximately $320,000. Cast and crew interviews from that period and retrospective documentaries show a professional, incident-free filming process. Jamie Lee Curtis has spoken extensively about the production, mentioning no supernatural experiences or disturbing presences. The legend incorporates the Celtic festival of Samhain, attempting to connect Michael Myers to ancient Celtic mythology and evil entities. While Carpenter did reference Samhain in Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, this was creative world-building, not documentation of real occult practices. The name Samhain adds mystique but represents fictional storytelling rather than hidden truth. Stories about journalist Claire Hensley investigating the film's origins and subsequently disappearing follow classic urban legend patterns. No journalist by this name disappeared while researching Halloween, and no abandoned St. Marcus clinic has been discovered filled with white masks and occult symbols. These details mirror countless creepypasta stories designed to blur fiction and reality. The tale describes screenwriter Daniel Farrans attempting to reboot the franchise with a script about the Samhain cult, receiving threats, and abandoning the project. While Farrans did write Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers, which explored the Cult of Thorn storyline, he experienced no documented threats. His involvement was purely professional, and the cult elements were creative additions to expand the mythology. Fan theories about the mask-changing expressions in certain scenes or viewers being marked by watching the film represent typical horror community engagement. Fans enjoy finding hidden details and creating elaborate theories, but these represent imaginative interpretation rather than supernatural phenomena. The human brain's pattern recognition can see faces in movement where none exist. The 2007 Comic-Con incident, allegedly involving a motionless Michael Myers cosplayer and a subsequent death, has no basis in documented events. Comic-Con incidents are extensively covered by media and convention security reports. No such death occurred, and no unidentified killer was pursued by security. This story follows the pattern of killer clown urban legends. Claims about an indie documentary titled The Real Halloween, directed by Chris Mullally, who disappeared before its premiere, are unverifiable. No such documentary exists in film databases, and no director by this name has been reported missing. The story of mysterious footage showing a motionless figure represents digital age folklore. The alleged 2018 Blumhouse employee photograph showing a reflection of a boy resembling William Thorne watching the set follows modern creepypasta conventions. Such images would be extensively analyzed and documented by horror communities if they existed. The claim that the image was wiped from the internet within hours is a common trope in conspiracy theories. Occult scholars supposedly claiming Michael Myers represents the Veil Keeper archetype blend academic-sounding language with fictional concepts. While various cultures have mythology about liminal beings and threshold guardians, no established occult scholarship connects these concepts to the Halloween franchise specifically. This represents creative mythologizing rather than scholarly analysis. The story of an anonymous nurse from St. Marcus breaking silence in 2020, claiming William knew victims' names and spoke unknown languages, follows horror movie conventions. Such testimonies would be investigated by journalists and researchers if verifiable. The nurse's alleged disappearance 2 months later follows predictable urban legend structure. References to deleted scenes showing Michael looking in a mirror and seeing a boy exist only in fan speculation. While Halloween films have deleted scenes available on special editions, no such officially filmed scene matches this description. Directors and editors have discussed cut material extensively, without mentioning supernatural occurrences during filming. The Myers cycle theory proposing the spirit returns every 40 years, predicting 2042 as the next manifestation, represents numerological pattern seeking. Horror fans enjoy creating apocalyptic timelines and prophecies around beloved franchises. These theories provide entertainment and community engagement, but don't represent actual supernatural phenomena or hidden truths. John Carpenter has given numerous interviews about Halloween's creation over 40+ years. He's discussed inspirations, creative decisions, and the franchise's legacy transparently. There's no documented instance of him turning pale when asked about William Thorne or making cryptic statements about ideas finding willing bodies to obey. His actual comments focus on filmmaking craft and genre conventions. The 2022 urban exploration story about hunters breaking into the Russellville clinic, finding fresh blood, and experiencing Josh's disappearance with mysterious footage follows found footage horror conventions. Urban exploration communities document their investigations extensively, and such incidents would be reported to authorities. No such case exists in missing persons databases or news reports. Forensic experts allegedly analyzing melted tape that burned from the inside without damaging the casing describes physically impossible phenomena. Such evidence would be scientifically significant and thoroughly documented. The story of an investigator going blind after viewing the footage alone represents classic cursed media folklore like The Ring, the ritual of covering mirrors before watching Halloween or seeing Michael Myers' name 3 times represents fan-created traditions that add participatory dimension to viewing experiences. These rituals are harmless fun that enhance atmosphere but don't invoke supernatural consequences. They demonstrate how communities create shared practices around beloved horror properties. So what's really behind these legends? The human attraction to believing fiction might be real taps into deep psychological needs. Horror fans particularly enjoy blurring boundaries between movies and reality because it enhances the thrill. Creating elaborate backstories and conspiracy theories represents creative engagement with beloved franchises. Urban legends serve social functions, creating shared narratives and bonding communities through collective storytelling. The Michael Myers mythology demonstrates how modern folklore develops around popular culture properties. These stories spread through social media, YouTube videos, and horror forums, evolving with each retelling. The Halloween franchise's actual creation story is fascinating without supernatural embellishment. John Carpenter and Deborah Hill crafted an efficient thriller that revolutionized horror cinema through masterful technique, atmospheric cinematography, and Carpenter's iconic synthesizer score. The film's success came from artistic vision, not occult forces. Michael Myers' effectiveness as a horror icon stems from his simplicity and blankness. The featureless mask allows viewers to project their fears onto him. He represents the unknowable, the motiveless evil that can't be reasoned with or understood. This psychological power requires no supernatural explanation. The franchise's longevity demonstrates strong filmmaking, memorable characters, and effective mythology that resonates across generations. Multiple sequels, reboots, and reimaginings have kept Michael Myers culturally relevant for over 45 years. This success reflects entertainment value and cultural impact, not hidden darkness. Understanding these legends as creative fiction, rather than suppressed truth, doesn't diminish their entertainment value. They represent modern mythology making in action, showing how communities collaboratively build complex narratives around shared interests. The stories are engaging precisely because they're well-crafted fiction. Critical thinking remains essential when encountering such tales. Asking for evidence, checking sources, and distinguishing between documented facts and creative embellishment protects against misinformation while allowing enjoyment of horror culture. We can appreciate spooky stories without believing they're literally true. The real horror behind Halloween isn't supernatural but human. Our capacity for violence, our fear of the unknown, and our vulnerability in seemingly safe spaces. Carpenter tapped into primal anxieties about invasion, threat, and mortality. The film's power comes from recognizing these fears within ourselves. Michael Myers endures because he represents something genuinely unsettling about human nature and existence. Not because of ancient curses or possessed children, but because he embodies senseless violence and the terrifying randomness of danger. That's the real darkness the franchise explores. So enjoy the urban legends, share the creepy stories, and have fun speculating about hidden meanings. But remember that the line between fiction and reality exists for good reason. The Halloween franchise is brilliant horror filmmaking, and that's remarkable enough without requiring supernatural explanations or tragic true events behind it.